Hatching Chicks in Room 6 by Caroline Arnold. Mrs. Best keeps chickens in her backyard. Every day the hens lay eggs. Every day Mrs. Best collects the eggs for her family to eat. But today Mrs. Best is bringing the eggs to school. Many chicken eggs are white. Eggshells can also be brown, green, blue, or speckled. The color depends on the type of chicken. Mrs. Best is a teacher. The children in her class are learning about chicks and how they grow from eggs. A hen lays her eggs in a nest. If she sits on them for 21 days, the eggs hatch into chicks. A hen keeps her eggs warm and moist and turns them with her feet and beak. An eggshell protects the growing chick inside. The children put the eggs in an incubator. They look through the plastic cover and watch the eggs move on the turning rack. Water drips into the incubator and makes the air moist. This keeps the lining inside the eggs from drying out. A heater keeps the air warm. A motor moves the rack. This turns the eggs and keeps the growing chicks from getting stuck on one side of the shell. The eggs went into the incubator on day 1. They will hatch on day 21. While the children wait for the eggs to hatch, they count the days and learn about chickens and eggs. A chicken's life cycle begins with a fertile egg. You need a hen and rooster to make a fertile egg. A hen is a female chicken and a male chicken is a rooster. A chick starts growing when the egg goes into the incubator. Each day, the chick grows a little bigger. The skin on top of a chicken's head is called a comb. The flap of skin under the chin is a wattle. Roosters have bigger combs and wattles than hens. A thin skin called the membrane holds the egg white together. At the large end of the egg, there is an air sac between the membrane and shell. The clear part of an egg is called the egg white or albumen. It cushions the embryo. The yellow part of an egg is the yolk. The yolk of a fertile egg has a small white circle that looks like a bullseye. In an incubator, it will grow into a chick. A chick growing inside the shell is called an embryo. The yolk is food for the embryo. On day 12, Mrs. Best takes an egg out of the incubator and puts it on top of a bright light. Then she turns off the lights in the room to make it dark. A shadow shows the shape of the chick inside the shell. Thin red lines show blood vessels that are bringing food from the yolk to the chick. By the time the chick is done growing, it will fill the whole shell except for the air sac at the end. Shining a light through an egg is called candling. The dark part is the shadow of the chick's body. On day 18, Mrs. Best shuts off the motor that turns the eggs in the incubator. Now the eggs must stay still. The chicks inside the eggs are almost done growing. The chicks turn inside their shells to face up as they hatch. On day 20, the chicks poke a hole into the air sac inside their shells. They breathe air for the first time. Peep, peep, they call. The children listen carefully. They can hear the chicks calling. Just one more day until they hatch. Day 21, hatching day. In the morning, the children see small holes in some of the eggs. Soon, other eggs have holes too. Each chick has a sharp knob called an egg tooth on the top of its beak. The chick taps it against the shell to make the first hole, called a pip. An eggshell is strong. It is hard to break open. The chick rests a while before pipping. Then it starts to tap again. Most eggs hatch 12 to 18 hours after they pip, but the time for some is longer or shorter. The chick slowly pecks a circle around the inside of its shell. Little by little, the shell begins to crack. It is like unzipping a zipper. The chick is curled up like a ball inside its shell. It lies on its back and pushes with its head and feet. Finally, many hours after pipping, the chick pushes one more time and the shell pops open. The chick has hatched. One by one, the eggs hatch. Some chicks are yellow, some are white or tan. One of them is black. Hatching is hard work. The new chicks are tired. Their feathers are wet. Their legs wobble when they stand up. They lie down and rest while their feathers dry. All the chicks stay in the incubator overnight. There are more than 100 types of breeds of chickens. Each breed has its own colors and patterns of feathers. Mrs. Best's chicks are a mix of several different breeds. The egg tooth is at the end of the chick's beak. In a day or two, it will dry up and fall off. The chick does not need it anymore. When the children come to school the next morning, the chicks are hopping around inside the incubator. Peep peep, they call. Now the chicks look fluffy. Their feathers have dried. They are ready to go to a broad box. A chick's fluffy feathers are called down. They help keep the chick warm. The new chicks are hungry and thirsty. Mrs. Best moves them from the incubator into the broad box. The chicks have food and water in the box. A light keeps them warm and they have plenty of room to move around. The chicks still need a lot of rest. When they are not eating or drinking, they snuggle together. A group of chicks that hatch together is called a clutch. When a hen hatches a clutch of chicks, she keeps them warm under her wings. Chicks know how to peck for food and drink water as soon as they hatch. Pebbles keep the chicks from falling in during the first few days after they hatch. Each day, the chicks grow bigger and stronger. Now they are 6 days old. Mrs. Best brings some of them out of the broad box. If the children sit very still, the chicks will eat food from their hands. Chick mash is a mixture of corn, grains, vegetables, and nutrients. It is ground into small pieces just the right size for the chicks to eat. Now the chicks are 10 days old. Their legs are getting stronger. Feathers are growing on their wings and tails. Tiny combs are beginning to appear on their heads. They are big enough to hop out of the cage by themselves. The children have named each of the chicks. The most adventurous one is Cookie. Mrs. Best shows the children how to hold the chicks. Their feathers feel soft, but their feet tickle. Chickens are birds. They have feathers and wings, but they don't fly very well. The chicks are now 3 weeks old. They are big enough to spend the day in an outside pen. The chicks have food and water in their pen. They scratch the ground with their feet, looking for small plants, seeds, and insects. For a special treat, the children give them mealworms. Chickens do not have teeth. They eat small pebbles and dirt to help grind their food into small pieces so it can be digested. It is time for the children to say goodbye to the chicks. The chicks are nearly a month old. Mrs. Best will take them back to her house, where they will join her other chickens. The chicks will finish growing in a few months. In about 5 months, the rooster will be able to crow. The hens will start laying eggs. Perhaps next year, some of their eggs will come back to the school and hatch new chicks.